Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today, we're looking at box number 78. We are flying high with an all Hawk box. We're going to start with some Hawk and Dove, get into some Hawkeye, some Hawkgirl, some Hawkman, and end up with some Hawkworld. And I'm so glad you're here. I hope that you will like and comment and subscribe. They really help the channel. And if there's anything inside any of these packs that you'd like to see in between, I hope that you will let me know and I will make that happen. So, but in the meantime, let's get going with box number 78. All right, so here we go. As I begin shooting this, letting the dog stay in the room with me, so he may lose his mind, and I may have a little pause there, so bear with me. Anyway, we pick up with this would be technically the third Hawk and Dove series. The first one was during the 60s for about 5 issues, 5 or 6. The second one was in the early 90s. And then here in late 90s, kind of completely chucked the original characters and came up with 2 new ones. He's a rock and roller, she's a soldier. They get wings. They're Hawk and Dove. And so trying to kind of keep the name alive. Got issue 1 through issue 5. We might have seen them once or twice. Maybe they in some big group shot with the Teen Titans or something at some point, but they did not take off. I think we eventually got some rigmarole and timey-wiminess and stuff and wound up with it, back to, well, I know during Brightest Day we'll have regular Dawn Granger Dove, so yeah, bless their hearts. Good on you, Hawk and Dove, right here. But anyway. Then, during the New 52, at the very least, we have Rob Liefeld returning to Hawk and Dove, the series that he had worked on, as you saw at the end of the previous video, originally. And he is doing the art chores on there. Issue 1 through issue 8 on that. That is as far as that went. So we now get into Hawkeye, or Hawk Guy, as the joke goes. So this is his mid-80s, for his first miniseries, first title with just his name on the top. He meets Mockingbird, and they have an adventure and wind up getting married. Funny thing, I went a very long time without making the connection that, okay, so he's an archer, she's a bird-oriented martial artist, and they're in love, blonde, and they're in love. So there is, that sort of parallel with Green Arrow and Black Canary just like totally went over my head for a number of years. Issue 1 through issue 4, doesn't actually die. And let's see. So then he has another mini-series. And so it's volume 2, if you will. Hey, newsstand. I don't remember what year this was, but 90-something, 92, 93, something like that. Issue 1 gets a new suit, gets a little werewolfy partner, never seen again. So, bless their hearts. 93. 90. So then we go to 2003-ish. Got this Hawkeye miniseries, the High Hard Shaft. Some kinds of a bit of a naughty joke there. Issue 1, and that ran through issue 8. I think there were basically 2 4-issue arcs within there. There you go on that. So then we get to the big boy book, Matt Fraction's review of Hawkeye, kind of rethinking his personality a little bit, kind of giving him that lovable loser background that would carry through, interestingly, carried through on and stayed that way in the comics. The movies didn't really go that way, and interestingly, the comics did not necessarily fall in line with that. So he's, divorced bachelor, and in this series, that said, there are some elements of this that they did pull into the Hawkeye TV show that ran one season. But here we have he gets ownership of takes ownership of a little brownstone in New York, and then has to defend it against mafia figures who want to buy it out from under him and things like that. So that's issue 1 right there, which is actually the first appearance of Lucky the Pizza Dog, as seen on the TV show. We've got issue 2 right there. This is the first appearance of Clint and it's right here, Kate Bishop. So Kate had first appeared over in like Young Avengers or something like that. So this is the first time the two of them are actually meeting and getting together. And again, some similarities here with, or some things that got pulled over into the TV show. Issue 3 there. Through issue 8. Now we've got this issue 9, which is a big boy book. It says it's the first appearance of the clown, but I really think it's just an expensive book just because that's a cool cover. I just really think that's why people are take to that. 10 through 12. Through 17. Through 22. And that is the end of that award-winning series. We did have one annual 1 there. I think that would go on to a certain degree, the all-new Hawkeye series that you would have seen in one of my first, like 3 or 4 or whatever, box 4 or something like that. We got Kate has made an enemy of Ms. Mask, the Iron Man villain. But eventually we do get another series focusing just on Kate. There, it's issue 1 through issue 4. Totino artwork on the covers. Humor to his covers. Jessica Jones comes in to help Kate set up her detective agency. Issue 12. Wolverine coming to visit Laura X23. Issue 13 there through issue 16. Got Hawkeye and Mockingbird, the divorced couple having an adventure together there during the heroic age period of Marvel. Issue 1 through issue 6 of that. Hawkeye Blind Spot. He kind of had a series of mini-series, kind of a Venom-y kind of, not quite as many as Venom, but kind of did that for a little while. Issue 1 through issue 4 there. Got a one-shot Hawkeye, Earth's Mightiest Marksman. Derek Robertson, Tom DeFalco, Jeff Johnson, I believe. Fighting the Taskmaster. Hawkeye Freefall. Not too long ago, right? It's got a digital edition inside, you know. Issue 1 through issue 6. This one is kind of tied into well, he's fighting Bullseye, and it involves the Ronin outfit and some things like that. Then we've got issue 1 of Hawkeye : Kate Bishop. There. Issue 1 through issue 5. There. Oh, that was it. So that's all the Hawkeye. All right. So then we've got. So one of the. So okay. Infinite Crisis at DC comes and goes. Then they have what they call their 1 year later jump, where all the series jumped forward a year. 52, that series would, not New 52, but just the series called 52, would kind of try to tell the story of what happened in that year. In the case of the Hawkman book that was out at the time, instead of, Hawkman just jumping a year, they actually went all the way and changed the title, the Hawkgirl. So Hawkman went off to, I don't know what he was doing, but so Hawkgirl is having some solo adventures. We've got writing by Walt Simonson, art by Howard Chaykin. Now Chaykin can be a little controversial. I'll be blunt. We're seeing some nips. And there is a point in this storyline where she goes through a portal that I've never heard anybody point this out before. Maybe it's just the way my brain works, but I swear that portal looks like lady parts. So I don't know what was going on in his head. But anyway, and DC let it ride. So I don't know. Anyway, that's so issue 50. So 1 through 49 was a Hawkman series. We'll pick up it with issue 50 here. alphabetically, of course, girl before man, through 52. There, Bast, I assume. 53. More Howard Chaykin through 60. Chaykin just doing covers. Kept the Hawkgirl name, but now Hawkman is back. Which, that's fair. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Of course, dealing with their destined to fall in love, but I don't want to fall in love. I'm not actually feeling in love with you. Why? But you're telling me that I'm destined to fall in love with you. And of course, we find out later that Kendra is not a real reincarnation of Shiera, that Carter is supposed to be with forever, and that's why she isn't really feeling for him what she's supposed to feel for him. 61 through 66, the end of that series. Then we got another little Hawkgirl series a few months ago, just in time for the trade paperback to be on the stands when people come out of the Superman movie that has Hawkgirl in it. And issue 1 of that. And runs through issue 6. She's still kind of somewhat hung up on Carter. Not as well as, that when he wants her, she's like, no, I'm not really into you. But then, of course, when he's not around, there is that part of her that feels for him. So, issue 6. All right, so we get to Hawkman. So we start with a facsimile. Don't panic. $3.99. And of this issue, which is issue 4, and I got it. It was the first appearance of Zatanna. Bless her heart. Her first appearance, she wasn't on the cover, so that's always been kind of an itchy bit for that. And that's all I have actually of the first series. I've got a Showcase Presents Hawkman or something out there, and then he did not have another series for years and years and years. He would appear in, of course, the Justice League. Hawkman would have backup stories, be backups in like Detective Comics and World's Finest and things like that. And then finally in 1986, okay, keep in mind that year, 1986, they bring out a new Hawkman series. We're going to get a little bit, I'm not going to try to totally unravel all of the twists and turns of Hawkman continuity, but I'll try to throw you a bone here and there. So, it's 1986. We're doing this thing. At this point, what it appears is, okay, as unlikely as it may seem, the state of continuity is, in the 1940s of this unified post-crisis world, there was a guy named Carter Hall who was Hawkman, and then he, retired, and then an alien named Qatar Hall from Thanagar came and took, a derivation of his name, Carter Hall. So incredibly coincidental, but that's where we were. So issue 1, and the Thanagarians come to attack the Earth and take it over, blah blah blah. But they're doing it in secret, so that's why it's a shadow war. Issue 1 through issue 4. Hey, look, it's Zatanna, and she's actually on the cover of Hawkman 4 this time. I just noticed that. I didn't catch that till just now. She's gonna have to always be in issue 4 of Hawkman. Issue 5. It's being written by Tony Isabella, creator of Black Lightning, and great classic writer. Lion Mane, villain. Issue 8. Battle with Darkwing. I can't, bless his heart, I think this precedes Darkwing Duck, because that's all I can think of when I see Darkwing. Right there. Issue 9. Hawkman. Getting Dan Mishkin coming in to help with some writing. Issue 12. There. Issue 13. And issue 17. Thus ending this Hawkman series. Now, the next thing that happens is, I believe John Ostrander decides to write a new origin for Hawkman, for the second Hawkman. Okay, fine. And he creates a sort of a ugly Thanagar, which, not just a plain old, Flash Gordon, alternate planet, alien planet Thanagar, but, a really ugly. There's elites that live above, and there's the poor people that live below, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's a 3-issue miniseries. We'll see that in a second. So then it's popular, so they decide to make a series out of it. Well, that's where things get ugly, because they establish at that point that Hawkman is just, it's like 1991. It's been, 80s, the crisis ended in 86, that Hawkman and Hawkwoman are just now coming to Earth. So now we've got to account for all of the Hawkman appearances that have ever happened before now. So they wind up doing all kinds of stuff, saying that, okay, well, the Golden Age Hawkman didn't really retire. When he came back, he joined the Justice League and he filled in, and but everything you just saw, that kind of got shunted over to, well, the crisis hadn't totally taken effect yet, and that's in some kind of weird temporary period. Well, anyway, so Hawkworld runs for a while, and then as you do, they decided to reboot the series again, not changing the continuity again, but just things happened, and they decided to start a new Hawkman series. So we're gonna, alphabetically speaking, we'll see that here now. We are, as with so many of them, it had a 0-hour crossover with the issue 0, and there you go. That's issue 0. This is a Hawkman who he remembers being Carter Hall and Qatar Hall at the same time. He's kind of merged. He also has some Native American background to him. He finds out his mother was Earth Native American, and some stuff like that. Got this gold foil Hawkman number 1. Issue 4. There. Jandersima. I assume I'm saying that right. Durasima. John Ostrander being the writer, of course, who created the Suicide Squad that most people are familiar with. Issue 5. Hawks are not getting along. They're not married in this version. They're kind of just partners and trying to get along, and will they, won't they, and that kind of thing. 12. God Spawn. He starts to get involved. Oh, I'm sorry. They haven't merged yet. I think that's coming. Because the Hawk, there's some sort of Hawk God, which is sort of like the Hawkman version of the Speed Force. Issue 12. I thought they did. I don't know. We'll see. 0 Hour in issue 13. Now he's fighting Hawk God. This is, of course, that 0 issue would be right after this one. Issue 20. Hawkman teaming up with the new version of Black Condor. Black Condor being a Quality Comics character that was revamped by DC after they owned it. Let's see. We've got issue 21. Hawkman going up against the Shadow Thief and the Gentleman Ghost, who are both, although this is some kind of new version. They're both classic Hawkman villains. Here he is going up against Dr. Polaris. Issue 29. Oop, look at here. We got that shaken cover, so we know where we're headed. There. 33. Oh, but not yet. My bad. So that's the end of that series. Then we got a couple of annuals for that series. Annual 1. This is the Bloodlines, where aliens come and they start feeding on humans, but some of them, when they get fed on, they live and they develop powers. This guy Mongrel would kind of show up back in the series a few times. Issue 1. Issue 2 of the Year 1 annuals, kind of telling a story from the early days of the character. Then we have our next Hawkman series. So I believe over in JSA, so Hawkman had been missing. That was the point at which we had the introduction of Kendra Saunders over in JSA. So her first appearances are over there, and so she's just a Hawkgirl without a Hawkman, which really kind of came out of I think the Justice League cartoon using Hawkgirl instead of Hawkman. But over in that side, they have a storyline where they find Carter, and he's mainly a Carter. Like I say, he's a Carter who remembers being Qatar, and so now he gets his own series with issue 1, issue 8. So back in the day, the Hawkman, the Atom series wasn't selling so well, so they decided to, and possibly even the Hawkman series, so they decided to team them up on a monthly basis and put them in one book. So that's kind of a traditional. That's kind of a traditional team up, and so here we're kind of hearkening back to that. Trying to keep the dog calm. Don't want to lock him out. For all you dog lovers, please forgive the whining. Hawkman 9, teaming up with Dr. Fate there. through 16. So we've got Hawkwoman coming back, and she's kind of just still, you know, full-on Thanagarian, you know, from the Hawkworld kind of thing. So she hasn't like absorbed her, you know, Shiera or anything like that. So that's how that's rolling. She's 16. She's 17, teaming up with Animal Man. We've got these covers by, I don't remember his name, but they're awesome. Very realistic covers. She's 17. She's 24. Again with this was part of a JSA storyline, kind of a crossover back and forth between Hawkman and JSA, Black Rain. There, Rags Morales doing art. Jeff Johns has of course been wrote that JSA book, and now he's doing the JSA book and the Hawkman book. Famous for, of course, his Green Lantern work. Issue 25. Right there, JSA all splayed out there. Hey, Power Girl. 28. So, Jeff Johns moves on. Jimmy Palmiotti, Justin Gray, famous team-up writing team. Ryan Sook doing art. Nick Gray on inks. Don't ask me why I remember. I remember names. Some of those names pretty well. And we've got Carter and Kendra here. Here we go. 29. Don't remember. Got Greg Land on cover there. Oh, that was Greg Land on the other cover as well. Greg Land, a controversial, somewhat artist. 36, teaming up with Dead Man. There. Alright, 37. There. 44. Another beauty cover. I think I hear FedEx guy, maybe. When the dog freaks out, that's what that means. 45. There. And this one ends at 49. So remember what I was just saying. So this one, at the end of Infinite Crisis, everything jumps forward a year. So that Hawkgirl series we saw earlier, which started at issue 50, that's the next issue of that. So then the next actual Hawkman series was from a few years ago. Robert Venditti did a pretty good job. He initiated this whole, oh gosh, I don't know how far back you want to say it goes, but you know, ancient times, some sort of ancient race that was going around killing lots of people, and this one guy whose name sounds like Qatar or something like that, rebels, and he gets some help from this other Shiara or something, and Shura, and they are cursed to reincarnate until he has saved as many lives as he has taken. So just kind of wrapping it all up, kind of saying, okay, and the reincarnations don't have to be one at a time, they can be two at a time, which is how he could be Carter and Qatar at the same time. and he was also Hawkman on all sorts of other planets and all kinds of stuff. So kind of really giving it a nice, somewhat clearing up some of the mud by just saying, look, it's all one guy who reincarnates, and sometimes it's at the same time. So issue 1, see, he's on Krypton. He was a Hawk dude, a Hawk guy, if you will. Issue 8. Wonder what happened to that version. Issue 9. I think the Deathbringers were the. So then later, like, the people that he rebelled against were still around, and track him down or whatever. Issue 9. Issue 16. So Hawkman gets not yet. Getting pulled into this Year of the Villain thing that DC was doing. Issue 17. There, fighting the Shadow Thief. That's part of the Year of the Villain, so we're bringing back Shadow Thief, one of Hawkman's classic villains. And Sky. So then, during the death metal stuff, or I think the death metal stuff, Hawkman gets turned into a bad guy called Sky Tyrant or something like that, and so he has to eventually be cured and turned back into regular Hawkman. Issue 20. I think there's he got switched places with his dark multiversal copy or something like that. Issue 21. We've got Shayera. So she's regular Thanagarian Shayera is back. Got some Adam Strange. 24. So Venditti's really now kind of getting into that. Where did we come from? Why are we like we are? Kind of stuff. There. Hawkman and Hawkwoman versus this dude. And issue 29. So they go back and they have another, they're back in their own bodies during the 1940s, and we get to see them, just kind of having a JSA 1940s adventure. And there's some stuff about how they are no longer, they are going to reincarnate. This is their last life, so they can't count on that anymore. But they have found each other and they are in love, and that was great. Of course, then the next thing DC does is puts Carter in the JSA book with Kendra, and they're kind of dancing around each other and trying to figure out how they feel, and establishes that Shayera is the one that John Stewart had a somewhat of a relationship with in the past, kind of in a allusion to the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. So we got everything just exactly where it was, and then they got to screw around with it, but that's cool. It's all right. Got to have drama. All right, so then we got a few one-shots and things. Got the Dark Knights Hawkman found. Because one of the metals is an nth metal, which is what Hawkman's flying and with wings and stuff is all about. I don't remember what this exactly was about. From this period, the 02 or so period, we've got a secret Hawkman, Secret Files and Origins, background on the characters and things like that. from around the time of that series that I said doesn't count anymore. This Hawkman special. There. We've got this Hawkman special that I can't remember what it was. It was something like there's an Adam Strange special that has a connecting cover too, and is tied into the Ran Thanagar. Ran and Thanagar, Ran being Adam Strange's planet that he visits, and Thanagar being, you know, Hawkman's planet. They're constantly getting into it, and they have a holy war at one point, right around the time of Infinite Crisis, or right after Infinite Crisis, actually. They have a war before Infinite Crisis. They have a holy war after Infinite Crisis. And this guy is one of Jim Starlin's villains, and this kind of establishes some stuff about something like, you know, he's really just the Thanagarian. He's not really Carter Hall or vice versa or something like that. This was basically forgotten forever. Alright, and so that was all of the Hawkman, which brings us to the stuff that I described earlier. Hawkworld. John Ostrander didn't write this. Timothy Truman wrote this. And drew it, probably. I think Ostrander would get involved with the, you know, when it became a regular series. But anyway, Tim Truman, known for, what was it? It's not Coyote. Scout. Something like that. Issue 1. Issue 3. Right there. So, okay, DC. We're just going to let that take place in the past. That's just how things happened prior, and then everything else just kind of, no, you're going to make this happen now and throw off continuity. Oh boy. Anyway, Hawkworld, the series, issue 1. Qatar and Shayera come to Earth for the first time and throw off all kinds of continuity. Issue 1. Issue 8, right there. Yeah, John Ostrander. Okay, I'm not crazy. He just didn't do the original. Right there. Issue 9. Right there. There's 16. War of the Gods crossover, like we saw with the end of Hawk and Dove back in the previous video. Issue 17 there. 20. There. And here we can. 21. This is like a 4-issue. This Escape, 5 issues. Issue 21 through 25. This is where they're trying to sort out the continuity a bit. So, because, alright, so they decided that the original Hawkman was the Hawkman in the Justice League and stuff like that. Except that there came a point when all of the Justice Society members died. They didn't all die. They didn't really die, but you know, we thought they did. In that whole, in the Ragnarok thing. So, but there had been Hawkman after that, and so who was that? Well, okay, so then they established that there was another guy who and woman who were Thanagarian spies who masqueraded as Hawkman and Hawkwoman, and that's who had temporarily been the Hawks prior to the Qatar and Shayera coming to Earth. I believe this is also where we learn that Qatar's father had come to Earth, met Hawkman, was inspired by him to create the whole, Hawk police thing, and also since his name was Perrin Qatar, he because apparently their names were backwards, he named his son Hall, so that his name would be Qatar Hall, or something like, that kind of thing. So doing their best, bless their hearts. It just would have been a lot easier if they had just set Hawkworld in the past and been done with it. But anyway, 21, 26. Hawkman's got him in a pretty little red and yellow suit, brightening things up a bit. Fighting the Shadow Thief, as it does. And that's the end of... No, it's not. Oh, okay, wait. So then we have issue 27, and so issue 27 is the first part of a 6-part saga, and it features this white dragon who is a Nazi kind of character. And so the actual, name of the guy inside this guy has nothing to do with Peacemaker, but this is who Peacemaker's father on the TV show, what his name and his costume looks like, and so that's this is considered to, that with that connection, people are sort of seeing that as the first appearance of the version of the character that we see in Peacemaker. So I believe that is why it's a red dot book. There. And oops, something that came untaped. One moment. Get it through. Continuing that story, there's this whole area on Earth that's full of kind of mutants and freaks and stuff, and this motorcycle cyborg chick is one of them. Again, Hawkman is the defender, or trying to police the area, keep the peace. And that series ends with issue 32 there. And would come back as that sort of gold foil Hawkman #1 we looked at earlier. Hawkworld had some annuals. Hawkworld 1, Annual 1, teaming up with Wally West, Flash. And issue 3, dealing with the Eclipso being the villain that was in all of the annuals that year. Somebody would get too mad, too angry, and Eclipso could take them over, and so then the people that that didn't get eclipsed would have to fight them and try to stop Eclipso. So there you go. And that is all for this box. Okay, so that was box 78. Next time we will get into box 79. We will start with Haywire and work our way through, let's see, some Hercules and some heroes for this and that. Hero this, hero that. Actually, a lot of that. And eventually get into a couple of books about history. So if you don't know much about history, you'll want to be here next time. But in the meantime, I hope you have a great day and a great evening. Thanks.